I've been a winning poker pro for 7 straight years, and these are the only 5 strategies you need to win more. If you start using them, you'll fix what's holding your game back and win more consistently right away. In this video, I'm going to break each one down so you can start using them today. The first strategy is going to be shown when I am dealt Queen Jack offsuit in big blind. This is a 2-5 game, and under the gun is going to open 4x the blinds, making it $20 to go. Two opponents in low jack and button will be put it in a call. Small blind folds, and in this spot, Queen Jack is just good enough to continue with, but even this hand can start folding sometimes. The problem here is players tend to overcall hands such as Queen 9, Jack 9, King 8, Ace 8, Ace 5, and 6-4 offsuit. They also tend to overcall King 3 and King 4 suited as well. You may believe you have the odds, but you do not against a 3x open with multiple callers, and especially not against a 4x open with multiple callers. Also, we are going to be out of position to the entire table. You need to play less hands in big blind. Try tightening your range a bit, and you will not slowly lose money throughout all of your sessions. I will put in a call with Queen Jack since it can make a nut straight with other Broadway cards, but I must keep in mind that even if I do hit top pair, I may not have the best hand against these specific ranges. We are four-handed headed to a flop of King 9 deuce, 2 clubs. Very good flop as I am drawn to the nuts, aka the best hand possible if a 10 comes out. Not being a pre-flop aggressor, I will check and the original opener will check as well. My opponent in low jack will put out a bet in position to most of the table for about 50% of the pot for $45. Button is going to fold, and there are two options here. We can take the more aggressive line with the check raise, especially with having additional backdoor equity to the second nut flush, or we can take a more passive line with a call. This time around, I will put in the call. Under the gun is going to be folding their hand. We go heads up to the turn, and it comes the Jack of Hearts. It is an okay turn bringing in second pair, as sometimes I would now be ahead, but my opponent can still have top pair in their range. I check the turn, and after a couple of seconds, they will be checking back. We go to the river, and it comes the King of Diamonds. Very good river, as now it is harder for my opponent to have trips with only 2 kings left in the deck. Also, in live poker, sometimes people in position will bet the flop with a strong 9, pocket 10s that did not want to 3-bet, or maybe even Jack 10 or Jack X of clubs that did not want to barrel the turn. My hand can for sure get called by worse, so it is time to fire out a bet here on the river. I do go for a smaller size this time, making it $40 to go. After a couple of seconds, they will put in a call. I turn over my Queen Jack offsuit, and they will muck their cards. Very good bet on the river to get my opponent to commit some more money. The next strategy is going to be illustrated by this hand where I am dealt 7-6 suited in under the gun +1 position. To learn more profitable strategies, make sure you grab my free guide, The Low Stakes Poker Blueprint, by scanning this QR code. It gives you the 100 rules I used to win for 7 straight years. You can also receive it by clicking the pinned comment in this video. This is a low frequency open from this position, so keep in mind you do not always have to play it. But this time I will open 3x for $15. It folds around to cutoff and they put in the call. Button is going to 3-bet squeeze, making it $55 to go. It folds back around to me, and with their sizing, the extra money in the middle, and the player being a regular, I will put in the call with 7-6 suited. It is also because you want to play high equity hands at the poker table. This hand is very straightforward to play, and with knowing how to navigate majority of flops, I will not get into much trouble. Cutoff is going to fold. We go heads up to a flop of 7-4 deuce, 2 clubs. Keeping it simple, I have top pair with a weak kicker. I will check, and my opponent is going to fire a continuation bet, aka C bet, making it $105 to go. We cannot fold yet as our hand is too good with the ability to turn trips, 2 pair, and even go runner runner for a straight if they check back the turn. I will put in the call. We go to the turn and it comes the 6 of hearts. Beautiful turn as my opponent will never have 5-3 or 8-5 suited in a 3-bet squeeze pot, so I essentially have the best hand here almost always. I check and villain announces they are all in for a pot size wager of $340. Nothing to think about here. I snap call. The river comes the 8 of spades and they turn over ace-10 of clubs. This is the power of playing high equity hands even in 3-bet pots out of position. This strategy is a bit of a different one where I am going to be dealt ace-jack suited in small blind position. It is going to be on hijack and they will open 3x to $15. Cutoff is going to put in the call and button is going to fold. In this spot, what are your thoughts with ace-jack suited? Are you thinking we should just call and take a flop because it is a very strong hand? Or is there a better option? There is a better route we can take to make sure we are now the pre-flop aggressor in this spot. Calling is the worst option here, especially with big blind still being left to act and having to play out of position to 2 opponents. Instead, let's take over the action with the next strategy, and it's you have to 3-bet squeeze more. Yes, it is an obvious play to do it with ace-king suited, but you cannot always just do it with the best of the best. I will 3-bet squeeze, making it $120 to go. Big blind folds and the hijack will lay it down and cutoff follows right after. We managed to win $35 without even seeing a flop, and we didn't pay any rake either. The next strategy you need to win more is going to be shown when I am dealt king 9 suited on the button. Blinds are 5-10 and under the gun is going to open 3x to $30. It folds to me on the button and I put in a call. Small blind folds and big blind comes along as well. Button is the best and most profitable position to play on at the poker table. Some advantages of it include always being last to act, you can control the action, you can check back turns to realize equity, and you can apply massive pressure to opponents with or without a made hand. Because of this, try your best to play more hands on the button. Now, this does not mean you should start calling 8-5 suited or king 3 suited against an under the gun open, but try your best to play some high equity hands. 10-9, jack 10, queen 10, ace 5, king 9, and king 10 suited are some hands to play here, as well as some pocket pairs for set mining. We are 3-handed, headed to a flop of 5-9-7, 2 hearts. I have top pair, second best kicker, but unfortunately the possibility of making a flush does not exist. Big blind checks and the pre-flop aggressor and under the gun would check a couple of seconds after. I do not want my 2 opponents to see a turn for free, as there are so many that would destroy the strength of my hand. Any 8, 6, 3, heart, or other overcards would not be fun unless it is a king, of course. I will place out a bet for $60. Big blind is going to call and under the gun will lay it down. We are heads up going to the turn and it comes the king of clubs. I now have taken over the aggression in this pot and have full control. Turning top 2 pair makes it even better. Villain checks and there are now 2 flush draws on the board. Checking back here is not an option as we want our opponent to pay for any draw they may be holding. They can have a pair plus a flush draw or a pair plus a straight draw type holdings. Sets are super unlikely without them check raising on this wet of a flop. I did bet big on the flop, but now it is time to size up even more on the turn. I would go for an overbet for about 150% of the pot, making it $300 to go. Villain does tank for 30 seconds to a minute, but finally they come along with a call. We go to the river and it comes the 6 of clubs. My opponent checks and with the backdoor flush draw completing, it is a bad river. Also, there is a 4-liner to a straight, and if you are not familiar with that, it is when one card in any player's hand can make a straight. In this case, any 8 will make a straight. So for these 2 reasons, there is no way I am getting called by worse. So this is just an easy check back to get to showdown. They turn over king 3 of hearts for the pair plus a flush draw I talked about. The bet size on the turn was perfect to get the maximum from them. I am sure your game is improving, and it will even more if you grab my free guide, The Low Stakes Poker Blueprint, by scanning this QR code. It gives you the 100 rules I used to win for 7 straight years. You can also receive it by clicking the pinned comment in this video. I am dealt a high equity hand again, but this time that is not the strategy, as I have 6-5 suited and under the gun +1 position. This time, pay attention to the stack depths, as now since we are deeper, we can open 6-5 suited a bit more. Do not always open it though. I make it $15 to go. We will have 2 callers in low jack and cutoff. Button folds and small blind, who I am 250 big blinds or so effective with, is going to 3-bet squeeze, making it $50 to go. Being in position to them, I will gladly put in a call for only $35 more. This causes the famous waterfall effect, as both players to my left come along too. We are four-handed going to a flop of 5 jack 6, 2 clubs. Let's break down ranges here, as it is extremely important as we are getting into the strategy. In this spot, my opponents will never have jack 6 or jacks 5 suited, as people do not flat this mediocre of a hold'em to an open against under the gun, let alone call a 3-bet squeeze. Pocket 6s and 5s are possible, but with me already having 2 pair, it means there is only one combination of cards left for them. For 6s, it would be 6 of diamonds and hearts. For 5s, it would be 5 of hearts and clubs. I will also unfortunately be drawing dead to pocket jacks automatically here, but there is only 3 combinations of that. Overall, to be in a spot where you are only behind to 5 combinations of hands is pretty good. There are so many other hands I am ahead of, including ace jack, king jack, queen jack, pocket queens, kings, aces, and also flush draws. Small blind will fire out a C bet for 50% of the pot, making it $105 to go. There are a lot of action killers on the turn, 2 players behind me, and a lot of hands that I want to put more money in here, as I mentioned before. Here's the strategy. Don't slow play when you have a strong made hand, especially at low stakes. People get in the money bad so often that we maximize our profitability by building the pot as quickly as possible. I am going to do that here, as I find a massive raise in position to $375. Both players to my left fold, but the 3-better is going to be coming along with the call. We go to the turn and it comes the deuce of diamonds. They would never have 4-3 suited here, so this is an amazing turn. There is $955 in the middle, and I have $881 behind. Yes, this is almost 2 buy-ins technically, but once they check, I will be going all in. This is not a 3-street hand, but it is one that wants to maximize winnings across 2 streets. For some reason, however, the 3-better is going to do the work for me, as they put in a donk bet for $500. If you are not familiar with it, a donk bet is when a player who was not the aggressor on the previous street decides to place a bet. Since I raised on the flop, I have taken over the aggression from the 3-better, so they should just check the turn. Do not be this player just donk betting for no reason. With their big sizing, it is best to raise it up, so I announce that I am all in. After asking for a count, they put in a call. The river comes the 8 of diamonds. I turn over my 2 pair and they will mark their cards. This is the exact reason why you should always fast play your hands. Winning like a poker pro is possible for you, so make sure you take the time to watch this next video.